like to introduce Sarah from England, who takes LDN for ulcerative colitis. Thank you for joining me, Sarah.
Hi.
Could you tell us when you first started to notice there were problems?
It was back in 2011. In 2011, in March of that year, I'd had a stomach bug that I picked up from travelling to Dubai. In May of the same year, I then developed a couple of blood clots on my leg and lung, which wasn't very pleasant. And then I started taking warfarin. In September of 2011, this is when the problems for me really started, and I didn't know it was ulcerative colitis at the time, but I was suffering from acute diarrhea and vomiting at the same time, and I went downhill quite rapidly from the September. So in 2011, between September and December of that year, I lost about 2 stone in weight. My hair started to fall out. I couldn't physically go out without rushing to a toilet within about 5 or 10 minutes of me either eating something or drinking something. And I was losing a lot of blood, and I was very ill. And I was very worried. So I went to the doctors, as you do, and the doctors could see that, I wasn't looking very well, and did actually say to me, we're going to have to send you for some tests, we're going to have to send you for some colonoscopies, but we need to prepare you for the worst. And I thought, oh, well, that's not very cheery. That's, that's not exactly encouraging, just coming up to Christmas. And because I was going to the toilet so much, and it was very, very painful, and as I said, I was just losing control of my bowels. I didn't know what was happening to me. I was vomiting. My body was going into shock quite a bit. I actually asked my siblings in the Christmas to say to my parents, look, Sarah's going to have some time to herself over Christmas. She's not going to join us for Christmas this year because I'd had a bit of stress going on in my life anyway, and she just needs some time to herself. And what I didn't want my parents to see was how ill I was, because I know, especially with your mum, I know that she would have looked at me, seen what was going on, and really, really been upset. So I spent Christmas 2011 on my own, and I was very worried. I thought I had bowel cancer. I thought I was just, that the future wasn't looking very bright at all. Mm-hmm. So January 2013, I start the year and I go back to the doctors, and unfortunately they lost my notes, they lost my test results. I still wasn't taking any medication for this. It still hadn't been diagnosed. So I'm still going to the toilet. I can't work. My boss was very understanding and really wanted to help me, but it was a case of what can we do to help, because even the doctors couldn't help me. They were sending me for tests. I was rushed into hospital by ambulance twice, put on a drip. I had to sort of stay in the A&E department overnight one night because I was just losing, I thought I was melting because I was just going to the toilet, and it seemed as though all of my insides were coming out of me, and I was really, really frightened. I mean, you're trying to sort of, when something like this happens to you, when you've got ulcerative colitis and you don't really know what it is, you're petrified because you think, what is happening to me? I've got no control over this. Nothing's working for me. What's happening? It's very frightening, and you've still got your life to get on with, and I had quite a bit of stress going on at the same time. So that takes me into 2012, In May of 2012, I actually moved back home with my parents because I was so ill. And from May 2012 to January 2013, I can say that I probably have never been in such a dark place. I was housebound. I couldn't go out in the garden. I couldn't even sit outside because I was literally had to be that close to a toilet, and I was going 15 times an hour through the night. I wasn't sleeping. I was ravaged. I was broken, and it's very hard to try and find hope or think of a future when you're that weak and you're that low. And all the doctors were saying to me is, well, you've got ulcerative colitis, your colonoscopy show it's, you're inflamed, all your bowel, we may have to remove part of it. we may put you on this drug called zafioprine, which is an immunosuppressant drug, which will mean that you're got no immune system, and you have to have blood tests every few weeks to make sure that the white cells in your blood aren't going mad and you're not developing cancer. And I thought, oh my goodness, how have I managed to get to this state? So it's very, very frightening. And I'm one of these people where I think I'm not having my life like this. I'm not being told that, there's no future and I'm going to be ill for the rest of my life like this. There's no way. It's not a quality of life I want to envisage. So you go on the internet and you start to search for things, and I've looked through everything. And I think, Linda, I've told you sort of before that one of the remedies that I had looked at for ulcerative colitis was somebody had mentioned that actually smoking might help. And I was that desperate, I was that low, that I thought, okay, maybe that's a solution. And now I can laugh about it because, I'm a lot better. But at the time, I remember thinking, I'm standing outside my parents' house. It's winter. I'm freezing cold, and I'm trying to have a cigarette to sort my bowel, to make me feel better. Am I going mad? And obviously it didn't work, and I wouldn't recommend that to anybody at all. That was just me, obviously desperate. And I've looked at healing websites, and I've looked at all sorts of different things. And somewhere, I can't remember quite how I came across it, but I came across LDN. And I'm not joking when I say this to you, Linda, but if it wasn't for your website and people like you, I literally wouldn't be where I am today, where, my health back. Your website and what you've done and all the information on there was a godsend to me. And I remember thinking, there's hope, there's something here, there's something in all of this documentation here, all these medical studies, all these case studies, and people are getting better. And I discuss it with my family, and I say to my parents, look, there's this drug, and should I look at taking it? And everyone's saying, oh, you can't go and do things like that. You can't, if it's not been on the NHS, why isn't it on the NHS? So, your mind is in turmoil through all this, whilst you're still suffering through an illness. The prognosis isn't very good for people with ulcerative colitis. And I just got to a stage where I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it because I've got to do something, and I'm not taking some other medication which potentially has more side effects for me than benefits. So that's what I did. But I did a lot of research, and as I said, your website was just essential for me actually trying this drug. If you hadn't put all your documentation on there, I wouldn't have even bothered, seriously thinking about it. So that's a big thank you from me to you and all your team at the LDN Research Trust, because you don't know the impact you actually had for me in such a positive way, and I was in such a low place. So I look on the internet and I see that there are doctors out there prescribing it. Some want to charge quite a bit of money for a consultation fee, which I didn't have, and I managed to find a doctor online who already prescribed it. I ordered it off him. I emailed him a few times. I told him about all the symptoms, and he was so lovely and calming and said, look, try it. This is what we'll start you off at. Then we need to increase it. And it arrived. And, I actually remember the day it arrived in this little package thinking, well, this is either going to almost kill or cure me, and to be honest, I thought, well, I don't care if it does kill me, because I don't think I want to carry on waking up day after day in this situation. So let's do it. 2 or 3 days into me taking it, I just thought, oh my God, what have I done? I feel horrendous. I'm worse. All of my symptoms got worse, if that can be believed. The pain got worse. My tiredness got worse. I was rushing to the loo more. And I thought, oh, there you go, Sarah. That's what you've done. You see, you've just proved everybody right. Don't buy anything off the internet. Don't go and do these things. And I thought, well, I'm halfway through, 3 or 4 days in. Literally, it'll either cure me, kill me, but whatever will happen will be over. So I carry on, and by day 10, I was better. I felt better. Wasn't healed, but I was better. and I'd gone to the, I'd taken the drug in the evening, and I slept. And I thought, I've just slept for 3 or 4 hours without going to the toilet. It was like, such an enlightening moment that I'd actually managed to have 3 or 4 hours sleep. And I thought, wow, I've had some sleep. So I felt better the next day because I'd actually had some sleep. And I carried on taking it. And my parents and siblings and family and friends were saying, how are you feeling today? And I'd be able to smile. And I even managed to joke occasionally. And then I got, because I haven't been able to joke or laugh at things because every day was black and bleak and just desolate. And as I got better, I managed to go out and go for a walk. And I think, well, I'll just go around the block. And, I said to my sort of parents, make sure that I'll go for a little walk. But if you see me running, just make sure that the bathroom's free because that's where I'll be heading. But I was okay. And then I'd go out a bit longer. I was careful to make sure that, I knew where any toilets were or disability toilets were on any route that I was taking. Mm-hmm. But that was 2013. And by May of 2014, literally nearly to the day that I'd been told the previous year before that I'd have to take this immunosuppressant drug, I went back into the hospital, and they're all lovely, people on the NHS in the UK, absolutely smashing people, couldn't believe it. And when I said, I've been taking LDN, they all write it down on little post-it notes and said, oh, well, I'll have to research that. What's all that about then? And I'm thinking, well, why are you asking me? I'm the patient. You're the expert. You're the bowel specialist, and you're telling me you don't even know of something that's actually helped me and actually has made me recover. And I am actually healed. And I've said to you, Linda, as well before that, for me to actually say to people, I am healed. I mean, that's a strong sentence. But I am. I don't take any medication now. I don't take the LDN. I don't need to take it because I'm better. I don't have the problems anymore. And for people out there who are listening to this with any illness, whatever illness you've got, and my heart goes out to anyone who's in pain, who's feeling really low. And people with ulcerative colitis understand this as well because I can only discuss the illness I have. There is hope. I am cured. I am better. So if right now, wherever you're listening and you're thinking, I can't go through another day, I can't go through another hour, well, let me tell you something. You can. There's hope here in this little drug, and I will shout it out to everybody I can to help people because I am so much better. I go for walks. I can go travelling, and I don't have to take anything. The other thing that I used to have to take, which I think made me worse, was Imodium. And I used to have to take about 3 or 4 packets a day to even go if I wanted to try and work or go to a meeting, and it made me worse. It made me feel absolutely dreadful. So to take this little LDN drug, which I took some, liquid form, every evening. I'm not very good with medicines, so I always hate taking medicines, but every single day I took it, every single day I got better and better. And to be able to be cured from something so devastating within a year has got to be miraculous. And the problem is I'm sort of struggling to understand why this isn't being used, why it isn't, people aren't taking it, and why people like, the LDN Research Trust have to push and get this research out there when really, the health companies should be looking at this. I'm a testimony to something working properly with no side effects. It made me have weird dreams, but maybe that's me. I'm not sure whether it's the drug, but, I can't speak highly enough of this. And I want everybody out there who's listening, who's just feeling so rotten and miserable, don't give up. You mustn't give up. You must have some hope. Give us another day. Go and do some more research on this. Have a look at the LDN website. Look at all the medical studies. And if you're really worried about taking it, and if you're thinking, you know what, I want to, but I'm so worried, I'm so scared, and then I will give my email address to Linda. I will put my stuff on the website. You can contact me, because if you can just get better and feel, even if you feel half of way better than you do right now, it's got to be better than what you're doing, especially if you're not doing anything at all. So I'm here to help now. I'm here to sort of help anybody who's got any medical problems, who's so worried and just can't go on. You can go on because we're here to help you. And I'm proof of that. So anybody who wants to just say, look, Sarah, please, what shall I do? Shall I take it? Shan't I? Email me, talk to me, because I've done it. And I want to, help other people. It's such a fantastic drug. And, all they need to do is change the medication, maybe make it taste chocolatey a bit or something like that. And then we can go from there. But it really has helped me. So, Linda, if you've got any other questions for me, then let me know.
Well, you've said absolutely everything, Sarah. There is nothing more that I could ask you. And thank you so much for sharing your experience with us.
Not a problem at all. As I said, I want people to understand it. And you know this, Linda, from yourself, you've been ill as well. When you're in a dark place, it's a very, very bad place to be. And you can't see the next few hours ahead of you, let alone the next few days, the next few years, anything. You can't plan that far ahead. And there are people who will be sat there at home now, whether they're going to bed, whether they're waking up, and they're just thinking, I can't go on, I can't. Well, right now, you can. And you can lean on me, and you can lean on the LDN Research Trust, and we will help you. So that's all I'm going to say. I want, maybe, Linda, in a couple of weeks' time, we'll have another one of these conversations, and we'll see if anyone's contacted us, and see if anyone else has, tried or done anything. And we're here to help. I'm here to help. I'm happy and I'm healthy. I'm not saying my life is perfect, but on the health side of things, I am so happy that I managed to find this drug, and I want other people to feel better as well. So that's all I'll say. And as I said, if you want to contact me, then contact the LDN Research Trust, contact Linda. I'll put my details there, and let's see where we go.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay.